in honor of you not having to hear this too much. We go to the East bracket, and the 1 seed is sitting 1 game away from a matchup that would be a rematch in the playoffs against these Celtics who just swept the Pacers. Love what Kyrie said, talking about the matchup and looking forward to it if it's what happens. Jaylen Brown saying when we had him on Arena Link, guys, said that's been the best team in the league all year. Said they look forward to the challenge. There have been so many machinations of different groups because of injuries. So how they played each other last year is even different than the 3 matchups this year. But let's take the team, Coach, you just watched in Boston, the one we're watching in Milwaukee. What do you see when you see the possibility of these two, other than the fact that we'll get some really competitive, great basketball?
Well, I think the important thing for Boston was winning the series in 4 games. So now they can rest, recover, and prepare. And that'll be the challenge for Milwaukee as well. But when you look at the conference semifinals, you have 4 teams that whoever, will be those 4 teams that are going to be equally matched. And that's going to be, if it ends up being Milwaukee and Boston, that's going to be one heck of a series. You've got 2 great teams that are very talented. They're deep. They're both great on both sides of the ball. So it'll come down to the execution and the overall health of the club. But I'm looking forward to that if that's what ends up happening.
Obviously the togetherness and the team aspect it will be a big deal. Al Horford, part of that, he tweets in, everybody gets involved, social media, you got to wait until after the game, of course. They're trying to focus and grit of the group. Respect to Indiana, fought to the last second. So when you look at Al and you think about the way the ball moved, let me take kind of specifically offensively for the Celtics against the Bucks. What do you like of that matchup? About the Celtics on the offensive side against Milwaukee.
Well, with the Celtics, they have multiple guys that can come out and get you 20. Also multiple guys that can have you big quarters. It comes down to now the style of play. Boston playing this new look Milwaukee. It's 5 out basically with Milwaukee now with Bud Ball. And then also the way they will play Brook Lopez. I'm always interested in coaches and also strategy being look at it from the outside, especially in my era. Do you play a Brook Lopez with a smaller guy to make him go down there and post up to take away their style of 5 out? Or do you stay conventionally big with him, which it gives him advantage? So looking forward to what Brad Stevens does against Brook Lopez.
I don't know if Indiana Jones, as great as he was at this kind of thing, could find a way to guard Giannis, because I don't know if there is one. But what about the Celtics and how they present themselves as a team to try and do their best to contain Giannis from what you see?
Collectively, they're going to have to do it together, and they're going to have to be on a string and somehow, some way, try to build a wall as much as possible and keep him from living in the paint. I have yet to see anyone stop him from doing that, just like I have yet to see anyone slow James Harden down. He's done that on his own all season long, the 2 MVPs of this league, I think. So it's going to be interesting, and it's a matchup that I look forward to seeing.
All right, we got much more coming. We will see you on the other side of the Dubs and the Clippers. Can LA get back even? The Raps looking to keep their magic down in Orlando, and we're rocking babies. Dame and Russ in a quadruple header Sunday in the playoffs on Game Time. Well, Doc and the Clippers gave it everything that they had. They held in it as long as they did. And as Clay said, I think profoundly after the game, there's a lot of options. How about 55 points from Clay and Durant, 9 threes combined? Steph didn't have to do that much. Warriors now 1 game away from putting themselves in that next round, perhaps in a rematch against the Houston Rockets. Casey Stern. Coach Thibodeau is with us. We've also got Smitty and Tough Juice. Bringing back whenever you can't, UConn, unless you're trying to beat the Warriors, in which you can't.
You cannot.
You just cannot. And especially when, Coach, you, as somebody who understands defense as much as anybody, you can do whatever you can do with your personnel, but they just always have that one other option you can't cover, and it was Clay, 27 points in the first half of his 33 scored in a game.
Yeah, and the thing about the Warriors, it's the championship experience. They've seen every type of defense. They know how to defend every offense. But the movement without the ball, when the ball goes into the post, they're never going to stop moving. And this is where Draymond is so effective. You can see Clay setting his man up all the way on that. It's the same thing here. It's the movement without the ball. As they move and when they hit Draymond has point guard skills, great vision, great decision making. These are wide open shots, good extra pass, corner 3, and that's what makes their offense so hard to guard. Same thing here. You see the penetration, and then it's the relocation. And you see Clay there sprinting out to the corner, another wide open. They relocate probably as well as any team in the league, and they're all unselfish. But they're never going to stop moving once that ball goes into the paint.
Yeah, and we saw defensively they really have clamped down when they've needed to on Lou Williams. And, I mean, that was a major factor. I mean, Lou was frustrated in this game, only 2 for 10. But they made a point, Smitty, to say they weren't going to allow what happened in that second half. They've given respect. They know how tough he is. But they made it really hard for him to even get the ball in a possession. And without him scoring in bunches, bench or not, the Clippers aren't going to be able to find a way to cut that gap against them.
Yeah, it is hard. And give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the young rookie, had 25 points. And if they could have got a big night from Lou and also a big night from Montrezl Harrell, this might be a different ball game. But just 22 points between Lou Williams and also Montrezl Harrell. Concerted effort to make it tough on Lou Williams. And Lou just had one of those nights. 12 is not a bad night, but they need more. They need Lou to have 20, 25. They need Montrez. They need everybody. They're just outmanned, but I love the way Doc had these guys competing to the end.
You know, the other thing that we saw was in big possessions, and this always gets forgotten, those extra second chance points, those tip outs, those opportunities that with Bogut back, we've seen him do before, but he and Draymond underneath, the unselfishness. They play team basketball more than just having alone the talent, and that was really what we saw again come to the forefront tonight, Karan.
Yeah, I think Coach touched on it, extremely well when you just talk about the squad being battle tested. They know the pulse of the game, they know the moments, and when you have to make big shots and have the big moments in the game and how deflating those moments can be. You see Kevin Durant hit the 2 jumpers, and it kills the momentum of the Clippers, and then he's looking at the crowd, and it's just like, how do we get over that hurdle? And they cannot get over that moment. So, it started trending in their direction in that fourth quarter, and they was able to capitalize and get a quality win on the road.
The other thing, Coach, is, and you can speak to it, it's not that easy to score. And they make it look so easy that you watch teams like the Clippers guys who fight so hard in a possession, or let's say in a beginning of a quarter where Doc is on them, hey, let's come out strong. They go out 8-2 run. All of a sudden, in 30 seconds, 2 threes from Steph, and you were even. How demoralizing is it the way they score?
It crushes you. And the way they move the ball and they get a wide open shot, and then the way they offensive rebound. But when they offensive rebound, they kick out for those dagger threes, and that breaks your back. You defend for 20 seconds well, and then you give up a wide open three. But I think the other thing you can't lose sight of is the way Andre Iguodala defended. He put a lot of pressure on Lou Williams at all times. And he made them work, and that's what their understanding of the things they have to do is what makes them so special.
Well, they certainly have rebounded after blowing what was the biggest lead that we've seen a comeback stem from in the history of the playoffs. Steve Kerr, I'm sure a bit happier with the performance that he saw here, putting them up 3-1 in the series.
In contrast, how Kevin and Clay carried you guys through different stretches of the game.
Well, they both had big nights shooting the ball, and I thought both were very engaged defensively as well. So both of them were fantastic.
Your second row? No? You're scratching, okay. Here, take that.
Farbod Esnashari, Clips Nation. Can you talk about what you saw from the youth of the Clippers and just their future?
I thought the Clippers were fantastic today. Their effort and their energy, they were attacking us all over the floor defensively. I didn't think we fully engaged in the game till they kind of took it to us in that third quarter, took the lead. And once that happened, I thought that's when our guys engaged. We started taking care of the ball and defending at a higher level. But I love their team. They're a young group that fights and scraps and plays together, plays hard. And, I just told our guys in there, that's what we're going to see Wednesday, too. So can't be any let-ups because this group is connected and young and energetic and playing hard and well-coached. And so we got to make sure we continue to lock in.
Coach Kerr right here. TPJF Hoops and Brews. Steph started out 0-6 from the field and 1-5 from 3. When he gets a rough start like that, is it more so about trying to get him going early or just letting everybody continue to play within the flow of the offense?
No, you just keep playing and you trust that he's going to impact the game because he's such a great player, whether his shots are going in or not. And but yeah, tough day for Steph. But this is the way the game goes. You know, guys sometimes have a huge night, sometimes they struggle. But the great players like Steph, Kevin, Clay, they bounce back pretty quickly from tough shooting nights. So that's what I would expect on Wednesday.
How important was that mini stretch at the start of the fourth where you got Durant and Curry on the bench? I think you guys bumped the lead up a little bit. And how important will that pocket of the game be during these playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, we're mixing and matching a little bit, and we had to change our rotation because of Steph's early foul trouble. But the third quarter, we were able to keep a pretty regular rotation out there. And as I said, I thought the last part of the third and the early fourth were really important moments for us in the game. So, the guys who came in to start that fourth did an excellent job executing. We got some good buckets and some stops and kept the game going for us.
Wes Goldberg with the step back, Coach. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is compared by some people to Sean Livingston or even Andre Iguodala. What did you see from him tonight, and do you think those comparisons are appropriate?
He's a really good young player. For a rookie to come in and attack with confidence the way he did, that shows you what he's about. So I thought he was great. He really hurt us, especially in that first half. And I thought we did a better job on him in the second half. But he's got a great future.
Coach Ryan Gorsey, San Francisco Examiner. How big was Alfonso McKinney there in that little stretch there in the fourth quarter where he tipped that offensive rebound out to Steph and then got his tip in, I think, off a clay miss?
Yeah, Zoe has been great, these first 4 games of the playoffs. He has the athleticism to not only hang in an NBA playoff game, but even to stand out in a playoff game. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds. He's good defensively. He's smart. And I thought he gave us huge minutes tonight.
Steve, Nick Friedel, ESPN, right? You mentioned Steph's foul trouble. Why do you think that's been a problem for him these last couple of games?
He just hasn't been focused. I don't know if you saw his shoes. You see his shoes? One shoe said no, and the other shoe said reach. So he didn't reach as much tonight, so that was good. But Steph sometimes loses focus. I mean, it's. He's such a fascinating player because, the same thing that makes him, not hesitate to shoot a fadeaway 30-footer maybe is the same thing that gets him in foul trouble. He doesn't overthink much, and so he's just gotten into a habit lately of reaching and instead of, showing his hands and trusting the help behind him. And did a better job in the second half. I don't think he picked up a foul. Maybe he did late. I don't know, but he'll be fine. I mean, he's just in a little bit of a rut right now with that stuff. But second half was a good spell for him where he was disciplined and stayed in the game.
Kyle Goon, Orange County Register. Steve, obviously, Gallinari has had some tough shooting against you guys. How do you kind of attribute the credit for what you guys have been able to do defensively on him this series?
Well, the playoffs are, they're a different deal for everybody. You're so much more locked in defensively. You can see what the Clippers are trying to take away with our three-point shooting, and that's what we're trying to do to them too. We're trying to take away, guys coming off screens, and we know what a huge factor and key Gallinari is for them. So we're doing our best to try to pressure him, stay in front of him, and challenge every shot, because when he has big games, the Clippers generally win, and so he's a real key for them.
Hey, Steve, a follow on the note about Alfonso. Going into the playoffs, what were you expecting he could give you, just knowing this is his first go-around, and what have you seen so far?
This is exactly what I expected. The thing I love about Zoe is he's fearless. He's never shied away from a shot. He has scrapped and clawed to get to this point in his career. He's played everywhere overseas and G League, and so he's making the most of his moment. And this is not surprising to me from a guy who's had to fight his way into a job. And I thought he really helped us tonight.
Coach. Chris with the Fantasy Sports Cave. Can you talk about what you saw from Clay in the first half and what it means when he has a first half like that, what it does for your offense along with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry?
Well, when Clay gets going like that, it fuels the whole bench. You can see everybody jumping around. Everybody gets happy. We all love when Clay gets hot. It's it fuels our momentum, and it didn't surprise me at all. He kind of had a quiet first few games of the series, so it's only a matter of time till he broke out. Thanks.
All right, so Steve Kerr and the Warriors now 1 win away from that next round. Lou Will and company, they are never going to give in. They're going to fight, but Clay was taking the fight to everybody. 17 points in the early going, made his first 7 from the floor, Smitty. That's good, right?
It just seems like, I love him as a player. It just seems like he comes with these huge games at the right moment. Big moment when Steph is not shooting this particularly well. In one of these games where it's a game that you don't want to be 2-2, Clay comes up with big games.
Now, you're talking about Lou in bunches. We know Clay could do it, but Montrez not going anywhere. 11-0 run, capped by Jerome Robinson. Karan going the other way.
Excellent job getting that deflection. Robinson going the distance, finishing strong for 1.
Until this. Coach, you've seen that, right? You fight hard, you get back in it, and then
That's what makes him so hard to guard. I think the playmaking of Draymond and then the unselfishness of Kevin, wide open shots.
27 at the half for Clay. Lou Will creates space, hits the fade, but then again, right back.
Whenever you're shooting by letters, that's deep.
Shot that from P1.
Half one, lead was 8. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander keeping him in it. Smitty, I know you and I have liked him really since draft day. Doc has been high on this. Could be a real good player, 25.
Knows how to play.
And not afraid.
Not at all. Good feel for the game. Great size at that point guard position.
9 of 15 from the floor. Ball movement. Nice extra feed there from Gallo. Inside, Harrell. They're feeling good. Clippers up 5. And then again, when you feel good, this happens. He missed his first 7 threes. Steph hit just 3 from the floor. He had 12 points. Warriors, though, still working.
Great play by Bogut. Great cut by Andre.
Clay, no dribbles needed. Had 32, 6 of 9 from 3. Lead was 8.
That was
Inside,
not a
Durant.
Flip the split there.
How about Steph?
Up high.
Man. And then KD finishing touches. 33.7 boards, 6 assists. Good night. The Clippers gave it everything they had. Effort never an issue, and I'm sure they'll get that on the road as well, despite the fact that Clay said after the game, we owe 1 to the folks at Oracle, so that first quarter may be interesting to watch out of the gates for the Warriors after what they did to those fans blowing that 31-point lead. We know what Doc's done for this team. Tough loss for his boys. Here is Doc Rivers after the game.
Doc, what effect do you think the change of starting lineup had on your team, and did it help, hurt?
Yeah, well, it clearly helped. It was 2020, at the end of the first or towards the middle of the first. I thought defensively, just overall, not just the lineup, just us. I thought we were better defensively tonight. What are they were averaging 130, shooting 54%. Today they shot 47% from the field, 113. So I liked a lot of the things we did. Again, and I've been saying this, it feels like, over and over, and give them credit. I thought that offensively, again, we just wasn't very good. I think we didn't score on 2 4-on-1s, 1 3-on-1, and 1 2-on-1, and we came up empty. In the playoffs, you got to get at least 1 point out of all those. You should get more, but you should get at least 1 point. And we kept coming up empty on those. And those are the ones, when they get them, it's a 3 or a 2. When we were getting them, we came up with zeros. And those things couldn't happen. And then the rebounding really hurt us again. Right now, they are crushing us on the glass. Now, one reason, obviously, is you got to rotate to their shooters, and it allows their bigs to be free on the glass. But we have to do a better job.
Doc, Joe Morgan, Sporting News. It looked like Shai kind of got the message to be more aggressive.
Great.
What did you think about him tonight, and how do you get him to keep doing that?
He just will, It was great. Very. He was aggressive. He was attacking. That's what we needed him to do. You know, they're playing off of him, and he, instead of just standing there, you know, and being a spot up shooter, he actually decided to make plays tonight, and so that's what we like. We need him to keep doing that.
Left.
Coach, Chris with the Fantasy Sports Cave. How big was that play at the end of the half where Gallinari fouled Durant to make the three, and Durant knocked down the three to push the lead from 54 to 62 to 54?
It was a big play. I don't know if it was but it was a big play. We should have trapped. That's what we were trying to do. No one came. Gal probably should have been up a little bit more as well. But, you think about a great example, the end of that quarter. I think we have a 4-and-1. I think Pat pulls up for a three. We get nothing out of it, and they come down and get a 4-point play. That's just the way the game goes, though, and can't get it back.
Doc, after game 3, you talked about counter-punching. Every time you get hit, you told your team you got to punch back. They did that.
Yeah, they did that.
Every time the Warriors went on a run, you guys came back.
Listen, overall, I don't like losing, period, in anything. And so, but my guess is we did make some mistakes. There's no doubt about that. But overall, I loved how we fought. I loved how we kept coming back, because you have to against them. I didn't think any of our guys were phased when one of their guys made a shot or made a great play. We went right back at them. I think that's how you have to play them. I thought we did that overall.
Coach, Blake Atwood with newsforusonline.com. What do you think it means for Jerome's progression as a player to have the impact he had in the minutes?
It's good. That was good for him. That whole group with Jerome out there, they were just moving the ball, playing well. He had a great defensive play where he got a steal. The one thing you like about Jerome is if he's open, he's going to shoot it. I know that sounds silly, but there's a lot of people who won't, and Jerome's not one of those. That's why we put him in tonight.
Mark Wicker, Orange County Register. You've coached against their defense for a long time. What's it like when they kind of tighten up the vise in the fourth quarter?
They're good. They're long. They're long, athletic. They're smart. They've been together forever. There's nothing you're going to run that they can't read. I think it's probably the most undervalued thing about their team. Their shooting is tremendous. But when they go with Iguodala and KD, which KG, especially at this age, and Draymond, they're just so smart, long, athletic. But their defensive IQ, to me, is unbelievable. And Steve and Ron Adams are responsible and part of that. Mark Jackson's part of that. He started it. So, but that's what they do well. They kill you with their defense, and then they show you their offense.
Last couple right here.
Coach of TPJF Hoops and Brews, Danilo and Lou Will combined for 7 for 30 today from the field. When they shoot that poorly, is there just no way that you guys can get over the hump? Or
well, there's a way, but it's hard. You can still win no matter who does what. I mean, it still was a 4-point, 6-point game. But clearly, if those two guys, and those are our two key offensive guys, struggle, then it's going to be hard, very, very hard for us to win against anyone, let alone Golden State.
Last question on the left.
Gary George, Inland Valley News. Coach, as far as a 3-1 deficit, what are your words of inspiration, outlook going back to Golden State?
Well, don't know yet, but the first thing I told him was before the game, mathematically, it was as close as the series possibly could be. It was 2-1, unless my math is off. After 3 games, 2-1, that makes it even. Y'all figure that out later, all right? But you know what I'm saying. I said, now we are down. And the only way we can come back is we have to win there. One thing I will say about our team is we will be ready. We'll show up. I can guarantee you that. This team has never not been that. And it would be nice to get back here. That's for sure. Thanks, guys.
Well, as Doc alluded to, it's going to be difficult to stop this team if you don't have everything going, and even if you do. KD will hit for more of the Warriors, a game away from moving on to the next round. Presented and fueled by Gatorade Zero. There's no quit in Klay Thompson. There were, however, 27 points from him in the first half. He had 32 overall, including 6 from deep, as the Warriors are able to move themselves one step away with a home win coming up in a couple of days from another meeting, perhaps with the Rockets. Here's Clay, differently dressed, ready to talk after the game.
Hey Clay, can you take us through 2 different stretches of your game in the first half with your scoring explosion, and then to open the fourth quarter, how you're approaching those things without Steph and Durant?
The ball was just finding me. I didn't do anything special. I was just getting open and knocking down shots, playing in a good rhythm. So you see a few go in, and then all you need is a little space. But give credit to my teammates. I got a lot of good shots off offensive rebounds and all shots from the offense. So it's not like I was doing anything. Just more volume, but nothing I don't do usually. Just try to get open and shoot that shot.
This is that early start game in LA. How locked in were you guys trying to just be ready for this early on?
Oh, we have our eyes on the, other teams playing, and we see Houston being up 3-0, chance to close it out. We didn't want to extend this series any longer because we know how grueling the playoffs can be. We already let one slip away, so tonight we came in with that mindset to, put our, foot on the throttle and not let go, because we let go in game 2, and we won't do that again the rest of the playoffs. I really believe that.
TBJF Hoops and Brews. Clay, when you're in those situations where you get hot in the first half, I believe you had 25 in the first half, what's your mentality going into the second half? Is it more so to continue to play within the flow, or is it to kind of just be a little bit more aggressive?
Yeah, that's definitely the former. Just play within the flow. I'm not good when I'm forcing shots up. That's not my game. I got to work off my teammates. I got to play within the offense that Steve has, laid out, which has been great for us. I mean, since he's been here. And when I play within that flow, that's when I have huge nights. Not just trying to go out there and hunt for great shots, but not settle for contested looks. Just because I've made a lot of shots in the first half, but to be patient and wear on the defense, let my other teammates get involved as well.
Clay, I assume you're referring to Houston going up 3-0, right? Was that part of the decision to just move practice early yesterday? Was that, it's not often you see an NBA team wanting to practice at like 9 a.m. on a Saturday.
I don't think so. I actually believe we had the 9 a.m. start time to get us ready for the day. I'm not a morning person, so it was a struggle to get up and practice that early. Felt like I was back at Santa Margarita. But it was fun, man. Anytime I play in Staples, I really enjoy it. Especially I was so lucky as a kid to come here and watch playoff games, now be a part of it. It's a real joy for me.
Your left.
Clay, Chris with the Fantasy Sports Cave. Can you talk about the impact Steph had, even though he didn't shoot the ball that well? Can you talk about his impact on the floor along with you guys?
He still stuffs the stat sheet. I think he had close to 10 rebounds, made some great passes, had timely steals, and he did make some huge shots for us when we had nothing going on the offensive end. That step back on the left wing was a huge igniter for our offense, and even when he's not shooting well, we still trust him to take any shot he takes. I mean, he's proved it with his career and his track record. Greatest shooter and scorer, one of them all time.
Hey Clay, what do you think Alfonso's shown you these first 2 playoff games?
Oh man, his ability to rebound at the 2-guard spot is huge for us. He creates so many extra possessions. He made a huge floater tonight, some big putbacks, and what a season he's had. To go from Luxembourg to playing in the NBA playoffs for the defending champs, it's an amazing story, and he deserves it because he worked so hard.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Steve was in here earlier, and he said that when you go on one of those runs, it's like the whole team feeds off of it. The bench gets livelier and everything. Do you sense that? Do you see that? Do you feel that?
I definitely feel it, and I've been in that position too on the bench. When I see Steph or KD go off, it's the same thing. But it feels good to get your teammates up. That's what you play for. You do it together, and I can definitely feel it when I got it going.
Connor Letourneau, San Francisco Chronicle. Clay, whenever you feel like you have a bad game, I know you kind of try to, do something to get yourself going. Did you do anything the past couple days to get yourself going tonight?
Oh, man, I did a couple things. I didn't think I had bad games, but I didn't have any big games. I told Jonas yesterday, we went to the beach, played some volleyball. I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna go jump in the ocean. I just know that will reset my mind, and it worked. So I don't know if I'm gonna jump up north because it's freezing, but something I'll definitely contemplate if I don't shoot the ball that well the rest of the year. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
One last one, if you don't mind, Clay. Gary George, Inland Valley News. Clay, talk about the momentum you guys took to overtake the Clippers when they had I think a 5-point lead. You guys came out very tenacious and took the lead back.
Yeah. We're lucky. We have a lot of experience, and it's not the first time we've been down. Going into a fourth quarter, up in the series or down in the series. So we know just to play with poise, patience, and play together. If we do those three things, we're almost unstoppable, especially when we're locked in mentally. So we weren't that worried. We know they're a good team. They got some great scores. They're going to make a run. You just can't let it deflate you.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you. All right, so there's Klay Thompson. Clearly the ball movement for the Golden State Warriors put him in the flow indeed, 27 in the first half. On the other side, for the Clippers, things not as pretty, unfortunately. The guard play, it was good, just didn't get it from necessarily the guard they needed it from.
Casey, when I'm having a bad day, I just want to go jump in the ocean.
Yeah.
Reset myself.
Yeah, reset myself. I reset myself. Yeah, as long as the water's not cold.
Right.
Do you do that often?
No.
The ocean in Atlanta?
Yeah.
We are landlocked.
We're in Atlanta.
We are landlocked.
Late life.
Fortunately. Not Karan. We'll have to go to his house someday.
Yeah, Karan.
Yeah.
Y'all got the man-made lakes.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, from a lake or anywhere else, it seemed like the guards of the Clips could make any shot at the end of game 2. Not as many tonight. Patrick Beverly and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander set a franchise record for rookie points in a playoff game with 25 in this game. Chat afterwards.
All right, questions, anybody? Right here, front row.
Tom Marizardi from Clutch Point. Shai, you hadn't been playing well the last couple of games. Doc touched on how you were one of the keys to really get this team going. Did you have that aggressive mindset from the start? Did you feel like you really needed to play better?
Yeah, absolutely. And we addressed that in film. Then I had watched film and saw the spots where I could take advantage offensively, and I tried to do so today.
Next question, please. Back there.
TBJ of Hoops and Brews. Shai, when you going out there and you're playing that aggressively in like first halves, how do you feel that energizes the team?
Personally, I think Pat's the energy of the team. Locks us in before and at halftime and things like that. And then we just feed off of him as far as defensively. I feel like as a unit, when we get going defensively, our offense takes care of itself.
Pat, at the end of the third quarter, you guys were up by 7. They went on a 23-10 run. Describe what happened in that sequence.
They made shots.
Gary George, Inland Valley News. Shai, can you talk about, as far as, Pat, going back, knowing that you guys down at 3-1, how do you inspire yourselves and the rest of your team to come out and to get a victory?
I think that we, from the beginning of the season, playoffs, training camp, we self-motivated. We look at every situation, every game as one game at a time. And, it's 3-1. That's the obvious. Everyone knows that. But to us, we just have to win the game and go from there.
Left. Here we go.
Hey, Pat and Shai, Chris from Fantasy Sports Cape. Can you talk about the different element that JaMychal Green brings to you guys in the starting lineup?
I just think he's a big that can stretch the floor. Doc did a great job of making adjustments, and as a unit, we were able to switch a little bit more, get stops, run. He can space it, so kind of put him in a bad position. What they wanted to do with Bogut, we like what we had, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Pat, you've been one of the veterans, you and Lou, that's really been helping Shai along with this. How impressed were you by what he did tonight?
I mean, words really can't really describe, because I see the work every day. I've seen the work since training camp. Before he even, stepped in training camp, I watched film of him, with my best friends, and like, man, this kid gonna be special. And, you see the grind throughout the year, and he embraces it. You know, he loves the grind. You know, whether it's up or down, coaches, they own him like they're supposed to be. Sam Cassell, Doc, own him tough. He never folds. Very poised, cool under pressure, and you know, I think what you guys seen tonight, despite the loss, what you guys see tonight is starting to make him for sure.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Y'all have a happy Easter to you guys.
Clippers not going to go away without a fight. Question is, how much fight do you have to give to stop this man? Will it ever be enough? We'll come back here from Katie. He's Kevin Durant, and he again showed it in game number 3. 33 points, 12 of 21 from the floor, 7 boards, 6 assists, and 1 conversation. We get a chance to hear from
Robert Flom, Clips Nation. KD, like a decade ago, you were part of a young up-and-coming team in OKC. Now you're playing against a team playing a bunch of young guys, Landry Shamet, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. How important are those early playoff experiences for them? Like, how important will they be? How important were they for you?
Damn, decade ago was a long time ago, man. And I walked in this building and played my first playoff series against a 1 seed, I think. We were 8 seed that year. And throughout the series, it was a rough one for me individually. You know, we took them to 6. You know, they were champions, but it was revealing. You know, you just learn how to play. You learn what focus and preparation is at this level, especially in playoffs, playing a team over and over again. So that work going into the summer was different. So I'm sure it's going to be the same for these young guys.
Farbodas Nashari, Clips Nation. Piggybacking off that last question, can you talk about what you saw from the Clippers' young guys today?
Well, I seen Shai come out and wanted to impose his will on the game early. You know, 25 points. He got him going to start the game. He had 14 in the first quarter, I think. And knocking down the 3, getting to the rim, putting pressure on our defense. I mean, he played with no fear tonight, and that's what kept him in the game most of the game.
KD, with a 3-1 advantage, how has your team intensified and going back home knowing that you can close it out?
Well, we got a couple days in between, so guys are just focusing on this off day and mentally and physically just kind of getting their minds and bodies right for Game 5. And, you know, we come out there relaxed and prepared and focused to, you know, play 48 minutes of solid basketball. I think that's just been our mindset.
KD, TPJ of Hoops and Brews. Today you had 6 assists and you had 3 straight assists, I believe it was, to Klay Thompson. Can you talk just about your playmaking tonight and how you were on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, Coach called my number in the fourth to handle the ball, and that don't mean just score. You know, if I see an opportunity to get a bucket, you know, I try to take advantage. But Klay had it going. He had a mismatch, you know, especially when the ball in my hands a lot, I know it'll come around. So, you know, just try to get everybody else going and, you know, get our energy going from just touching the basketball. I think that provides energy when everybody touches the ball, and we got some stops on the other end.
Kevin, you guys were up 10 at the end of the first quarter. Clips make a run there at the end, and then right before the half, you hit that 4-point play. Just how big important was that to double that lead from 4 to 8 going into the break?
I mean, any shots you can make going into the halftime, whether it's a layup or a 4-point play, I think that's good momentum. You know, basketball is all about momentum and flow. And, you know, they had it after cutting the lead. And, you know, they'd have been up 4 going into the half, and then they came out the third quarter with even a bigger punch. So, you know, even though it was just 4 points, you know, it was good at that time for us to get a little bit more separation, knowing that they had some momentum going into the half.
Jared Davis, LA Sentinel. KD, when the Clippers took the lead, the 5-point lead, what kind of adjustments did you guys make to really capture that momentum?
Well, you just gotta correct the defensive lapses, you know, because when we locked in on defense, we were making guys shoot over us, and you know, we're a pretty tough team. So in that stretch, they were getting some wide open threes, but we were also turning the ball over as well. So it's hard for us to set our defense up when we turn the rock over or shooting bad shots. And I think we had a 2-3 minute spurt of that, you know, and this team just looking for a crack in the opening for us to, you know, kind of relax and lay down just like Game 2. And, you know, but they don't stop, man. they're one of those teams that just will make you feel them all game, and even when you go home after the game, you're gonna be thinking about them because they tough.
Last 2 or 3, whenever you're starting.
And KD, Chris with the Fantasy Sports Cave. Today, Doc started JaMychal Green on you today, and obviously before he had Pat Beverly in games before. Does your mentality, your game change, or your approach change when you start the game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, JaMychal Green is obviously taller, so where I initiate and where I operate from the floor has to change. And, I can mix in, playing the same way I played the previous game, just a little, but, to keep the defense off balance, to not be predictable out there, I got to use the full body of my offensive talents. And, whether it's coming off screens, pick and rolls, being a facilitator, scoring the post, I just got to be ready to dive deep in the bag.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Kevin, what was the key for your defense? You guys closed the game. I think you held them to 2 field goals over the last 8 minutes. In your mind, what was the key to getting that done?
Well, when we focus in and keep the ball in front, make them shoot tough shots over us, and we're in solid shape. I think we did a good job with the Lou Williams pick and roll, forcing him to his right side, and making him shoot the pull-up jump shot instead of getting to the paint and drawing guys. And him and Montrez having a nice 2-man game. I think we kind of eliminated that a little bit with our pick and roll coverage. Guys are helping out on the backside as well. So, that's the game. That's the game for us. These guys are, can bust out and score a lot of points, especially with the shooters and the penetrators they have. So we just try to make them see bodies, make them see arms and hands, and,
All right, thank you, KD.
make them finish. Not bad.
All smiles for KD, Clay and company. The Warriors 1 game away from locking this series up. We'll look ahead to game number 5 and put a bow on this when we come back. Schedule of this series, Warriors and Clippers. Game 5 is coming up on Wednesday. TBD, it's everyone's favorite time to watch a game. You can keep posted on NBA.com and here. I'll be here, so I'll be looking forward to finding out what it is, because I'll be here for that with G. Hill and B. Wood. In the meantime, we look ahead to game number 5. And in this series, we talked about, Coach, the importance of sweeps. The Warriors, last time they were at home, and Clay spoke to it, they did not end things for themselves or for their fans the way they want last year in this building. What kind of a statement do you expect in game 5, unfortunately, for Doc and company?
Well, I think Clay said it all. They'll be ready. And usually the final game is the hardest one, getting that, the final win. And so I think there won't be a lapse in that game. There'll be great intensity right from the start. And I think you'll see the Warriors at their best. I think they know what's at stake.
Smitty, Rockets will try and lock things up late tomorrow night. Tibbs and I'll be here for that. Golden State wants to be in their best way going into it. How much is it important? Because they really unprovoked were talking about in the press conference. They know what's coming up next. For that reason, how important is it that they get things locked up?
It's always important to get rest, especially your opponent, probably the Houston Rockets, that got a chance to sweep. But I think also you just don't want to play around with the Clippers. They have some guys that can go off, and you don't want to get the games back in LA and give them a chance. And you just don't want to take any chances. So it's going to be super focused, like Coach said at the beginning. Gallinari is going to have a game for them. And then obviously Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell is going to have to play well. I'm looking for Gallinari to have one of those games.
All right, Clipper Legend, what do you get from the Clips here in game 5?
Man, I hope they just leave it all out there and, try to, restore the feeling. But look, I think Clay said it best. I think they're trying to put on a demonstration. Going back home, that loss left a bad taste in their mouth, and they're trying to continue to trend in the right direction and get prepared for the next round.
All right, you should get prepared. Just a couple moments away on TNT. The Raptors looking to keep their magic going for themselves in Orlando. Kavuchi Company get back even in this series, and all of the particulars and highlights analysis coming throughout the night on NBA TV. Right here, the Warriors 1 game away from moving on.